Mikhail Botvinnik was one of the greatest world chess champions of all time. His style of play centered around long calculations and correct placement of his pieces. In this game, Mikhail Botvinnik has the white pieces, and his opponent is Grandmaster Salomon Flohr. This game was played in 1936 in Moscow, Russia. It is currently white's turn to move, and Botvinnik plays a very strange move. He plays c5. Now at first that looks like a pretty bad move, because it makes sure that this pawn on d4 is now a backwards pawn and it will remain pretty weak. So obviously Botvinnik would have to have an idea or a plan, a good reason to play c5. Otherwise it just weakens the d4 pawn too much, and maybe black can move his other rook to the d file and gang up on the d4 pawn. It's on the same color as his bishop, so if he could find a way to attack it with his bishop as well, then white is going to be in some trouble here. So there was a really good reason though that white played c5. You see, Mikhail Botvinnik had very deep calculations and always sought to place his pieces on their best squares as possible. He was a great attacking player and a great calculator. So there is a really good reason to play c5 here. And I want you to take some time and think about this position and think about, why would white play c5 here? What is the reason behind c5? Well, the reason behind c5 is to gain more control over d6 and to allow white's knight the c4 square. So now the knight plans to jump to b1, to a3, c4, and then to d6, where it will be excellently placed and where it will be very active. If we look at the knight when it is on c3, we can see that the knight doesn't have any targets, it's not active, and it really is white's weakest piece. So white is taking his weakest piece and basically making it his strongest piece. And that's very important. When you are playing chess in the middle game, or even in the opening, you want to look at the development of your pieces. And if you can find a piece that is not developed, or is developed to a really poor square and is the weakest piece in your position, then if you can improve that, then you'll greatly improve your position overall. So that is exactly what Botvinnik is doing here. He's improving his weakest piece and thus greatly improving his position. The game continued with a5, knight b1, bishop d8, knight c4, bishop c7, and knight d6. Now if the bishop does take the knight, then that would give white an excellent passed pawn, which will be very difficult to stop. So black doesn't want to take the knight, but if he doesn't, then white has an excellent position, great placement for his piece, and a lot of activity. White is completely winning here and went on to win the game. So there is a lot that we can learn from this type of position. You want to make sure that your knights have great outposts, and you want to make sure that they are placed on the best squares possible. Hence c4 is a good move to play, even though at first it looked like c4 was bad because it weakened the d5 square. But even though that's the case, there was a great idea behind that move, and it significantly allowed white to improve his game.